Chapter.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm.
If you don't know our host, David Hamm, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
their
racing roots.
Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts.
Now here's our host, David Hamm.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Hamm. And tonight we got a special edition. It's Valentine's, so I want to say happy Valentine's to all the sweethearts out there. And if you don't have a sweetheart, you know what? It's okay. Take yourself to dinner. Everybody needs love. Right, Tracy? We got my wife over here. Speaking of love, we have my wife over here with me.
Happy Valentine's Day, y'all.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, you're talking to me or to everybody else?
All.
Yes, that's right. And happy Valentine's Day to you, Bryson.
Thank you. To you as well. No feedback over here.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
Now you're
yeah,
on.
happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, man. Did you do anything special for your sweetheart? Or you're only 16. You don't really have one.
No, I don't have time for that, man.
That's right.
I don't have the time.
It's
That's
okay.
good.
You can wait. It's not that important.
I've got plenty of
It's
time
not.
left for that, hopefully. Yeah.
Hey, be like Grant Enfinger and focus. Focus on your future. Forget about the ladies. I mean, you know, you got to learn the stuff as you go. Anyway, we're going to get on with Racing Roots with Hamm. But like I said, we got a different kind of show tonight. I really didn't ask for any particular guests to come in because...
Is this camera straight on me?
Yes, but you're not on camera right now.
Oh, my gosh.
That's for my buddy Scott, beer man down in Daytona.
Thanks, Scott.
He wants the Tracy cam, and so you're going to get it. And but anyway, so we didn't ask anyone to come in partly because...
There's a couple reasons.
Yeah, a couple of reasons. One is that it's a busy week. It's Daytona week, you know, so...
And it's a holiday.
And it's a holiday. It's a holiday, so to ask someone to come in and them to have to say no because I got to spend time with my sweetheart.
Yeah, thankfully you don't have to spend time with your sweetheart.
Yes, she spends time with me.
That's right. I make it a point to spend time with you every Monday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and normally I have a black shirt on that says Racing Roots with Hamm, but since we did spend some time down there in PONCE Inlet and around the Daytona area, I went and got this shirt at one of my favorite restaurants. So that's what it is.
Off the Hook.
Off the Hook, yes.
You can drive by boat.
Yeah, you can get there by boat or by land, sea, or air.
Well, another reason why we don't have a guest in is because David's wife, a.k.a. me, had to work Monday.
Yep.
So because of that, we couldn't stay an extended amount of time as he had anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So next year, we will be able to plan more appropriately.
Yeah, I mentioned potentially doing the show from down there, but it ended up working out. So, but hey, we're fortunate we're here because we also have Bryson on here with us.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And all that. So we're going to get a call in tonight, though. We're going to have Mr. Dargan Watts call in from Daytona.
Dargan was such a nice man. He was very welcoming. He was very accommodating. And he just, David introduced me and he came to our table. David introduced me. And then I got up and went to the ladies' room. And on my way, he stopped me and he said, "Where is your husband?" I said, "I left him at the table to guard the stuff because I'm going to the ladies' room." So he even recognized me from just meeting me for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very nice. And he also spent some time with Mr. Bill Blair. What did you think about him?
So that was a very, very, very interesting story. I knew of Mr. Bill Blair before we actually got there to Daytona. And it happens to be that the way that they had the autograph table set up, they had... one person here, David here, a blank seat here, Mr. Bill Blair here, and guess what? I got to sit between Mr. Bill Blair and David Hamm. So I made the most of my time. I talked to him, and he jokingly said in the beginning when I started talking to him, he said, "I need my wife's approval before I can talk to you." So that was very entertaining, and of course it broke the ice. He didn't need his wife's permission. He was just being silly. I don't think that he recognized right away who I was. So once he found out who I was, then everything was hunky-dory. He did ask me how old I was. I told him, and he said, "I thought you were in your 20s. I said, "I love you even more now."
Yeah. I guess being Bill Blair, he could ask that question.
Being Bill Blair, he could.
Don't bother me a bit.
But the funny thing is after I sat down and started talking to him, I said, so you know my grandfather. And he said, who's your grandfather? And I said, well, you refer to him as Willie Thompson. And he said, oh, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, so I hear you have some interesting stories to tell me. He says, okay, tell me what you got. I said, no, you get to tell me stories about him. I said, because when I knew my grandfather, he wasn't working. He was retired already, so I never knew what he did. So he proceeds to tell me some stories about my grandfather.
Mm-hmm. So you learned something about your grandfather, who was a race car driver for a little while, and he worked at a shop in Charlotte. Did he tell you that story about him working in the police in Charlotte?
He did. He said something about it. I didn't quite, because it was extremely noisy in there, so I didn't quite understand everything that Mr. Bill said, and I don't like that, but, you know, irregardless, Jana recorded some of it for me. So Jana's in Florida, so she is celebrating her Valentine's with her Valentine, and she did record it, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, she airdropped it to you, but I'm not positive.
Yes, airdropped. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know what that is. So we got Mr. Dargan Watts is tuned in. So hello, Mr. Dargan. He's going to be calling here in about 10 minutes, so we'll get to hear some of his stories. And, you know, we were down there right where the history of, I wouldn't say the history of NASCAR. That is history of NASCAR, because that's where the big meeting was with Bill France Sr. You know, he came up with some different ideas, and he decided he wanted to go with a strictly stock class, you know, after World War II, about 1948. And so he needed to move the racetrack. I believe it was from Ormond down to the current location there at Ponce Inlet. And we'll let Mr. Dargan tell a little bit more about this.
Yeah, before we do, can I go ahead and say who's tuned in right now?
Sure.
So Mr. Dargan is tuned in. He's actually commenting on YouTube.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
And we've also got Super Jason. We've got Scott Trevison from the world's famous beach. We've got Morgan Wilson. And Scott says, Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, Happy Valentine's to y'all as well. Okay, so what I was saying was whenever Mr. Bill France Sr. decided to open up a track in 1949. So the very first race in this new series, this strictly modified, was at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And, well, no, it wasn't Charlotte Motor Speedway. It was just Old Charlotte Speedway. And that was over near the airport, which was right where I grew up. I always knew there was a racetrack there at some point, but it was on the corner of Wilkinson Boulevard and Little Rock Road. And that would have been around, that was in June 19th, I believe, of 1949. And then a month later was the race down at Ponce Inlet. So that was the road course and sand. It was on the beaches and on the road as well. But as I mentioned, Dargan will tell us the rest of that story.
The name of the show that we went to was actually called the 12th Annual Historic North Turn Legends Beach Parade. Mm-hmm. So that was the event that we were involved in. And the following day, they were going to have another one. However, we weren't able to attend that one because we were on the way home.
Yes, we were. And it was 80 degrees Saturday.
Oh, it was so nice.
Mm-hmm.
I actually dressed thinking it was going to be cold and was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't very cold. It started out a little chilly, but then it warmed up.
Yeah, so I was talking to Dargan earlier, and I said, I don't think we could have asked for any more perfect weather. I actually broke a sweat. I had a T-shirt on.
You broke a sweat?
Oh, yeah.
But being in the car, being in the car, you did.
Yeah. So you had air conditioning on your side.
I didn't have air conditioning, but I had a lot of open vents.
Yeah.
There was no, I guess, floorboard in the seat behind me all the way back.
Yes.
So I had to be very careful where I sat because I could have easily went out because David had a seat. Tracy had to sit in the floorboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I would have given mine up, but it's a 3-speed, and I'm not so sure,
I know how to drive a straight drive.
Yeah. Okay.
But I was okay with you doing it. Yeah, I've driven a straight drive.
Yes, I got you. Well, the back seat, there was no back seat. It was
correct.
It was open, and there was a drive shaft there as well. So
yeah, you could see the axle turning.
Yes, that too.
Was it not the axle? Was it called something else?
The drive shaft.
Okay, so it was the drive shaft.
Yeah.
But I also could see the axles That's the axle going this way,
Yeah,
correct?
the housing, the axles are inside the housing, so it was a 9-inch Ford rear end.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But it was
Very
very
good.
interesting.
Very
And we
observant.
drove in the number 35 car.
yep. So
And that was owned by whom, David?
that was Stephen. Yes,
Levitt.
Levitt. Leavitt.
So I pronounced it wrong. I walked up to him and I said, "Is this pronounced this way?" And he said no. So he corrected me.
Yeah. All right. So the reason I said you had air conditioning is because you had a screen on your side of the car.
I had chicken
And
wire.
Mine, yeah, and mine had a windshield. So that was
It
the
wasn't
difference.
chicken wire. I'm joking, but yeah,
It might have been.
It wasn't. It was too thick. It was more reinforced than chicken wire.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. You have a good time.
I had a blast. You should have seen me getting in and out of the vehicle in a dress.
Oh yeah. She was in a nice looking dress. You know, I think it was like a pre-Valentine's celebration for her. Anyway, so the reason, if you're just now tuning in, you're listening to Racing Roots with Hamm, where every Monday evening at 7 o'clock, we have a new guest would tell us their story, their path, their racing roots. And it is roots, routes, whatever. They both mean about the same thing. You know, we have the roots of racing, and then you have your routes that you have taken to get there. So there you go. All right, so if y'all have any comments or questions, go ahead and throw them out there. I know Bryson might have one or two because he saw my video post. And for that matter, I'm actually working on another video that I'm going to upload this evening. So it'll be available tomorrow, at least tomorrow morning, I'll make it available. And it's like 45 minutes or so. It's pretty much all the video I took. Had Scott Trevison was walking around with one of my cameras.
He did an excellent job, by the way.
He did, yes. So I've been sitting and chopping and editing and cutting out anything that didn't need to be there or whatever. And then I also had the GoPro camera mounted on the roll cage inside the car on the B-pillar in the car. So it was some really good video, and it'd be interesting. You know, not everybody, let's say, gets to ride inside a car on the beach where they actually raced.
Right.
So, man, that was a
awesome.
great time. And appreciate Mr. Dargan Watts for inviting us down for that.
Well, that was amazing. He was such a nice gentleman.
And then we got to sign some autographs afterwards. So who else was there signing? Well, I was there signing autographs, okay, but I'm not.
I was talking too much.
Yeah, you were enjoying yourself. Well, okay.
I'm nobody.
No. I was just going to say that I was invited there to sign autographs because of, you know, I have this Racing Roots with Hamm show, and I was a NASCAR engine builder and Jackman.
And they actually came around with the microphone halfway through and was letting everybody talk.
Yes. But in no way do I consider myself a legend. I mean, good Lord. It'll take another, you know, if I keep doing what I'm doing now and enjoying the history and documenting the history, that's kind of the path that I'm going in right now. So, you know.
You are a legend.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I think you're a legend.
Oh, well, there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, he doesn't
100%.
believe
There's
me,
two
but he'll
votes.
believe you.
Well, there's 2 votes. No, that's fine. I mean,
What
my
is
point
what is it that Scott calls you all the time?
There's a all-star Jackman is what he says.
There you go.
Yeah. But my point is there's so many other people out here that I have so many friends that work in racing, that have worked in racing, and that still do it, you know.
Of course.
And so, I mean, even Beer Man, you know, he was the official beer man in NASCAR, I guess you could say.
Hey,
And
Beer
so,
Man.
Yeah. So there you go.
He's got that bumper in his car. I mean, in his man cave.
Yeah, that too. All right. So right now we are going to go ahead and take a quick break, and I'm going to get Mr. Dargan Watts on the phone. Unless Tracy has something else to say, we have a couple minutes here.
I just wanted to say hey to the new people that's tuned in. Dickie Dennis has tuned in. Jana Trevison has tuned in. And Pavel Volkov has turned in.
Okay.
Judy Brutch has turned in as well.
Yeah. So Jason Shoemaker says Tracy should have called in sick, and y'all should have stayed. Yeah, I agree with that.
No.
Absolutely. I'm not sure what happened there, but it just didn't work out that way. Okay, quick break. We'll be right back to Racing Roots with Hamm.
Real estate in today's environment can be a very challenging and stressful.
All right, we're back on Racing Roots with Hamm right here on 550 AM, 92.9 FM, WAME radio. You can also check out racingroots.com, my brand new website. Just got it officially rolling. So we're going to keep posting more content on it and more racing history. So we got Mr. Dargan Watts on the phone. How are you this evening, sir?
Doing well, sir.
Good. So what I'd like to do is for you to tell everybody your background, your history. Because one of these days I'm going to have a sit down with you and we're going to have you on the show. But for all of our listeners that don't know who you are and you have your different Facebook pages and things like that, just let us know.
Well, majority of what I've done in my lifetime is best not to be said. But anyway,
I think yours is on.
I was born in Bishopville in South Carolina, and Bishopville is famous for Doc Blanchard, former Mr. Inside at West Point, and then I guess Lee County, just a small town down in South Carolina, and went to Bishopville High School and ended up playing football up at Presbyterian College. And the reason I couldn't walk too much there Saturday in Ponce Inlet is because of an old football injury. And
hey, Dargan, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think we got something playing in the background over there. Sounds like. If you're, I don't know if
sounds like we're about a minute and a half off.
Yeah, well,
there's conversation.
There's just you got something playing. I think is what it is
no.
In the background. You don't have anything playing in the background.
Nothing playing in the background.
Oh, hey, don't hold on. Okay, maybe try that. All right, can you hear me now?
No, I don't hear you. Don't hear you on on the screen, but I can hear you on the phone.
Okay, got you. There you go. All right. So anyway, continue. I don't hear it anymore.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Getting back to me, I was not too much able to get around down there last week because of my back and walking through that sand. But we were just overjoyed to have you and your bride down, and several of the people commented about your show and all this, and I said, well, you need to start tuning in more, and hopefully we can get have some people tonight that will listen to you and not to me. But anyway, I got into racing. I guess really I think it's about 1956, and it was a little track about a third of a mile between Bishopville and Sumter, and it was called Ashwood Speedway. And in fact, the first time I went out there, didn't even go in. It was built down in the valley, and due to that thing being built in the valley, 2 years later, it filled with water, and it just so happened that it was built on top of a savanna, and had to close it up because it stayed flooded there for about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, got involved first of all with racing, just working on the wrecker, and a gentleman that went on to stardom from there. Very interesting tale about him. One, well, not a tale, but actual happening. Cale Yarborough. This was his first year of racing, and the promoter, Bob Smith, held a race up that night for Cale to graduate from Timmonsville High School. And somebody, Bobby Weatherly, a good friend of his, he qualified the car and had it sitting there waiting, and the announcer just had to do a little ad-lib for a while, and then waited till Cale came through, and he still had his tie on, his white shirt, his black pants, his dress shoes, and everything else, and grabbed the helmet and got in the car. And I don't think he won the race that night, but that was one of his first tracks that he raced on. But we also saw Cale at track where I got posted on a couple of the Facebook sites that we've got. Cale in his first race car, in his first race ever in 1956, which was actually in a cow pasture outside of Sumter. And Gene Stokes, the promoter, paid a fellow $400 to come out there and grade the place. And the track was actually laid out no engineering, no nothing really. Gene was a former driver up in North Carolina and ran some modifieds up in Wilson County and a few other places. But he had a boy named Roy Blanton that drove some Grand National races. Marion Cox for one, and a couple of other people that he drove for. And Roy had come out there and looked the place over. Gene had a brand new '56 Ford that he had, and had just gotten. And Roy said, "Well, where's the track going to be?" And he said, "Well, we hadn't talked too much about that because, like I said, it was a cow pasture." Mm-hmm. And Roy got in his car. He said, "Just let me drive, and you sit in the car with me, and we'll lay it out for you." So Gene said that he got in the car and floorboarded it, and he went west and decided he'd make a left turn and broad slid, I guess, making the first and second turns, and then he went east, and then made another turn to the left and started back west again, and did that about 3 times, and then stopped the car and said, "Now there's your track."
Oh, wow.
But that's how things started back years ago. But
yeah,
I've been involved in it in very heavily at times, and right now I guess at almost 82 years old, I'm probably involved more hour-wise and more deeply than I ever have been. But we've been on all ends of it, from serving on pit crew for Roy Maine a few times, and we had some highlights of our part of it was that we finished as a strictly independent several times in the top 10, and I think we had one top 5 finish along the way, but we've been in the promotional end of it. In fact, there for several years, when we lived in Orlando, Florida, I drove 425 miles to Sumter, South Carolina, every Thursday, and I was there for Friday and Saturday. We raced, and then came back on Sunday, and did that for several years, and then it just got too old. That trip with no sleep and all, it just got too much on us, and we decided to hang it up and going up there. But I took the thing, the job as the track manager until the owner of the track found somebody else. Well, that find somebody else lasted several years, and I finally just turned the keys over to him one night and said, "That's it. I just can't take it anymore." But
understand.
So go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. I was going to mention some of the people that were there Saturday, and this is I saw Peggy Flock come up, and
yes. The Flock sisters were there, and just at the same table you were sitting at, Johnny Allen, Dink Widenhouse, and Brownie King were all competitors at the track that you were on, the layout that you were on Saturday. That you were right there, and it just so happened that the car in front of you, well, the car that you drove was Gardner Levitt. Drove up in New England and won all kinds of races up there. And what surprised me about Steve was he was okay with you driving the car and all when I asked him about it. And what surprised me is he just stepped aside, and that pretty young lady who was sitting by you over there just took his place. And
Yeah.
so that surprised me when I found out that Steve wasn't in the car with you. But Gardner won many races up in New England, and a couple of cars ahead of you. I was white with black fenders, number 50. Actually won the race there on the beach in 1950, and
that same
Gober
car?
Soulsby was the winner of that race, and that car. If I had told you before, you needed to look at it and look in the trunk lid, and that was actually a moonshine car. You talk about racing starting moonshiners. Well, that was a moonshine car that was used for hauling sugar to the stills up in North Carolina and in North Georgia. I'm sorry, but anyway, the car that car was a tow car that pulled the winner from the previous year, 1949,
Okay.
and Gober drove it was a sedan, a Ford sedan, and won the race in 1949. And the only thing is somebody sabotaged his car and stuck a rag down in the filler pipe so he couldn't get gasoline in it. And Jack Smith, one of the drivers in the race, had fallen out for some reason mechanically, and he was there in the pits. And Gober came back by the second time and stopped and said he's going to have some gas. So Jack grabbed the gas can, opened the door, jumped in the back of the car, and got that rag out of the filler pipe and put the gas in with the car rolling. And he jumped back out of the car going into the second turn, and not the second turn, but the north turn is called. Actually, it's the fourth turn, but the third turn really, but
Yeah.
third and fourth. But Gober won that race. But after the race was over, some people complained about it, and Bill France came over and said, you didn't win the race. And Gober said, why? And he said, well, you had somebody riding in the car with you while it was going on, and while the race was going on. And he said, there's nothing in the rules about anybody being in the car. And Bill said, somebody give me the rules. And the rules back in those days, just on one piece of paper.
Sure.
And Bill got him a pencil and wrote in, nobody allowed in the race car other than the driver while the car's running on the racetrack. And he said, well, it's in the rule book now, so you got ninth place instead of first place. So
He must have said no other human or no other person, because you had Jocko Flacco years later.
yeah.
You know, that's what I was asking Peggy about is, and she started telling me the story. She's like, okay, so he was our pet monkey. And I said, wait a minute, I want to get this on video, but I never did get back over there because, it was so loud anyway. So I'm going to end up having her come on the show or call her or something and tell us that full story,
That is one of the most fascinating family. The whole Flock family had something to do with some type of entertainment, or their main deal there for a long time was booze, either hauling it, making it, or whatever. But it's a very, very, very interesting. I did a little bit of research on the Flock family, mainly because of Bob's flock being selected and put into the Augusta International Speedway Preservation Society Hall of Fame, and the whole Flock family either were race drivers, and including their sister. And it's funny that the sister competed against all three, Fonty, Tim, and Bob, on the beach that you were on Saturday, and she outran all three of them. So who knows? Maybe she was the best one of all three of them. But Bob, they said, actually had the most ability of any of them. But he broke his back, and it just got to the point that he just couldn't drive anymore. But it's just what you were on last Saturday. It's just so much history there, and people. Really, there's so many fans out there that just completely set on anything to do with the older cars. And I could see on your face on the video that you showed that you were having the time of your life just driving that car.
Oh, I was cheesing big time. That means I was smiling pretty big. I was very happy about that. And Tracy enjoyed it too, I believe. You could see her smile.
She looked to be enjoying it. She didn't look bored at all. Yeah. The wind was sort of blowing through, and like she said, all she had in front of her was chicken wire. But yeah. I was looking at the video of today's race that they had down there too. That was pretty much downtown Daytona, and the lady that was doing the filming. On that one, I don't know what the temperature was in Daytona today, but it was down probably in the 40s, and there she is with nothing to knock that wind off. But anyway,
yeah, for sure.
It was a perfect day. I think you brought some good weather from North Carolina to Florida.
Yeah, I got home, and we got home last night, I guess about 9 o'clock, and it was very cold. I got out of the car, and I'm like, wow, it's freezing, pretty near freezing. Scott would know down there, Scott Trevison, the beer man, you met him Saturday, but
yeah.
He also says Jocko Flocko rules. Yes. I need to make some T-shirts. Yeah, because that's a very cool story.
Well, it just so many things went on down there that, well, it's just like talking about the flocks. Tim actually won one race down there, and he was disqualified because he had roll bars built out of wooden 2x4s.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound
you'd be surprised how many people in the early days. Now, I don't know what year it was that they actually started enforcing the roll bar rule, but you'd be surprised how many people drove their personal cars down there and took the hubcaps off, put tape over the headlights, took shoe polish and leaded the car and put a number on it, and they went racing. And Bill Blair, talking about Bill, his father drove in 1953, drove their Oldsmobile from High Point to what's now PONCE Inlet and Ponce Inlet, and won the race and went by a service station and washed the shoe polish off, the number 2 lettering, and drove the thing back with $1,500 in his pocket.
Back to High Point. Yeah, and I know Richard Petty probably, later on, he did a lot of that, drove the car to the track, like the old Charlotte Speedway.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Bishopville, where I was born and raised, I never got to see the Southern 500 because we were always practicing football on Labor Day, and people were driving from California and everywhere else coming through Bishopville on Highway 15 and going to Darlington, which was 20-something miles from us. But you'd be surprised what you'd see coming through town with cars with the numbers on them and everything else, and they'd been out there on the. But I don't know what. Like I say, I don't remember what year it was. 1950, 51, 52. That they enforced the roll bars. But those fellows, men, they were daredevils, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you think of now, of course, it's still dangerous, but the safety rules, and you look at those old tin pans over their heads with a strap around them. You wonder what in the world would happen if they get hit in the head. But
yeah, for sure. I told you today I saw the helmet that Joe Weatherly wore down at the Home in the Moody when I was there, and they still had it. It's like an open face, and it doesn't look like it's got a lot of meat on it. You know,
Like leather.
Well, and before that, they would actually wear the old leather and aviator sunglasses, or not sunglasses, but aviator glasses from after World War II, probably whenever they got out of the war, and they brought had a lot of surplus left over, I guess you could say.
Well, they're old aviation helmets, and plus, your combat helmets too. But you look how everything now, of course. Look how many people were hurt and injured and killed and everything else before it all got to where it is now as far as safety. But those fellows, they had nerve back those days. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But David, you were asking how this parade got started. You met, excuse me, you met Walt and Rhonda Glasnick, and they're at the Racing North Turn, and they had the restaurant for several years, and in fact, they just sold the thing last month after running it for 23 years. But they are fully retired now, and but she's still going to be, both of them will still be involved in the parade, but the two of them and Bob Coolidge, who had the little Studebaker, the number 18 Studebaker, that to show you the dedication of people. He's been working on that thing for 10 years to get it ready, get it in a race or into a parade. And Bob and Walt and Rhonda started the parade in 2012 and had about 500 people. And they started. Didn't take too much to encourage me to come aboard, which we did. And in 2013, we had about 5,000 people, and then it grew as much to 2020. An estimated 30,000 people were there, and I would think it's probably in the neighborhood of 18,000 there this past Saturday. And,
Right.
But it just a lot of the in years past, those condos, you'd look up there in the balcony, it'd be full. But I think everybody, it was so warm Saturday that people got down off the balconies, came down on the beach so they could get a closer view and be able to look into the cars and all that. But it's just been a tremendous task, but an enjoyable trip, and I don't know. I wouldn't take anything for the people that we've met, and just learned to love really, and those people are just so great about everything, and just like with Steve Levitt, he'd never seen you before, never heard of you or anything, and being able to call somebody and this car has been that you drove has been in the museum up in New England for years, and he brought it back out of the museum a couple of years ago. But just being able to ask these fellows if they will give up their car, and these are their babies, and that's what's so fascinating about it, that everybody has the camaraderie for one another and all that, and to be able to go to them and say, hey, we've got so-and-so coming and he needs a ride, and they give it up.
Yeah. That was very nice, and I was surprised at how many people are out there waving, and I mean, just like you said, I'd say at least 18,000 people out there, and I did take care of the clutch. I didn't do anything that Humpy Wheeler would have done, and I did want to get out and work on that carburetor. The fast idle clutch or cam was off on the carburetor a little bit, but whatever.
Well, I heard you grind the gears a couple of times too. And,
I wasn't going to tell on him.
Yeah, it was a little sensitive. You know, you had to. I think the blocking rings were wore. No, I'm just kidding. It was actually pretty good, pretty strong engine there too. You know, so but whenever the cam on the carburetor was the fast idle cam kept getting stuck, so of course you have to idle it down before you can change gears so much. You know, whatever. Got to hit it just right. Well, did you hear Tracy's compliments before you called in?
I was saying how much of a gentleman you were, how much we enjoyed meeting you, and how nice you were to us.
Well, you too, and it was a pleasure meeting both of you and being around both of you, and I just wish that I could have gotten to just go to each and every car and talk to the drivers and all, but I've touched base with the majority of them on the phone and by email, but that's what I would love to have been able to do. But my gosh, that thing was a half mile of cars.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. We were very honored that you took the time out to come and speak with us. You know, David wanted to get ahead the day before and go check it out and see what it was going to be like, and actually you happened to be there and we got to speak with you. So that was perfect timing.
Well, it was just a perfect weekend, really.
It did turn out
really
to be
was.
a very perfect weekend.
I was just so happy, and only had one or two cars that broke down, which that's the reason we had 5 push trucks there. And,
Gotcha.
to be able to get everything out, and we had some few glitches and all, but overall it turned out real well, and I heard very few complaints, and who knows? We don't know what will be coming up in just a little bit less than a year, but we're working on it already, and in fact, I spent all day on it. So,
yeah, well,
and that's a year away.
Yeah.
To be fair, we actually didn't even know that any cars had broken down till we parked, and then the person beside us said that someone had broken down. I was like, really? I didn't pay any attention. I didn't notice. So I was just having a ball riding around and waving at everyone.
Yeah.
Well, one year we had 2 cars broken down, and the push truck was pushing one and was hooked up with a tow rope on the other. So here he was pushing one and pulling one at
That
the
would have
same
been
time.
a sight to see.
Yeah. I got some on video, by the way.
But I know you want to. You've got some stuff you want to show some people and all. But I'd like to just point out that the people that were there, I think they found out that the North Turn Restaurant and Museum are still. It's still going just like it always did, and the new owners. It's just the Huppans. They're going to be. Nice people to work with, and just a pleasure to be associated with them. But the Glasnicks are still going to be around too. So hey, just like adding 2 more to the team is what it amounts to.
Yeah, the new owner came up and introduced herself. Thought that was nice, and told me about they'd been coming there like 15 years. Okay, what? Yeah. Hey, hello to Jason Shoemaker. He's out there keeping the streets safe for us.
Keeping the streets safe.
That too, yes. Yeah, so he's out there working. He rides by and flashes his lights. He's a Iredell State troop, oh my gosh, Iredell Police Office.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's keeping our city safe.
Yeah, deputy. That's it. That's the word I was looking for, the deputy. Yeah. Hey, Dargan, while I got you, I wanted to ask you about, you were talking about Dink Widenhouse, who we met Saturday, but his relation with Ralph Earnhardt.
Well, they were closest friends. They really were. They were not friends on the racetrack, but they would fight you all night long for a position. And Dink started his racing career at the age of 15. In fact, there was about 3 years before he legally was able to accept money from NASCAR. But they'd slip it to him. But anyway, he was not supposed to be driving because he wasn't 18. But Ralph and Dink, they battled one another 2 or 3 times a week there for years and years and years, and became very, very close. But one night they were fighting for a position at Columbia Speedway, and Ralph thought that he could get one more position closer toward the front. So Dink was in the way, and Dink ended up outside through the guardrail and into the fence on the outside of the racetrack. But when Ralph Earnhardt died, Dink Widenhouse is the one who bought the headstone for Ralph Earnhardt's grave site. So
Very
they were
nice.
just that close. And,
Very nice.
You don't hear that too much anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph was only, 45, 46 maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that when he passed away.
A little piece of useless knowledge is that David traced back my ancestry, and he did find that Ralph is actually and I are related.
Oh, I'll be doggone.
My mother was an Earnhardt, so I never knew the exact relation, but I knew that we were cousins of some sort.
Well, if you look closely on I don't know which Facebook site I've got them on, but I got a picture of Ralph and his wife on their wedding day.
Oh, very nice.
Got several other pictures of them as they were growing up and growing older and what have you. But quite a family.
Now, Dargan, how would somebody go to your Facebook page and find that?
Well, your husband asked me that this afternoon, and I can't. You can start out with Auto Racing Legends.
Okay, Auto Racing Legends.
That's the oldest one. That's the one that we started, and mainly the reason it was started was to get some word out about the parade. And I didn't realize that Facebook and the first person that posted on the on that site was Curtis Turner's daughter, Margaret Sue.
Okay.
And I all of a sudden the thing started filling up, and I mean it just one right after another. And of course, I did a lot of picture taking throughout the years too, and some I'd printed and some I didn't, and I just had the negatives for a lot of pictures. And but all of a sudden, the first picture that I posted was of Curtis Turner, and the thing was disappeared.
Oh.
And I found out later that you're only allotted so many pictures, and then they put the oldest ones into archive.
Oh, okay.
So I said, well, we'll solve that one. So we'll go to Auto Racing Legends 2.
I gotcha.
Then that one filled up and went to 3.
Oh,
and then
okay.
to 4, then to 5, then to 6. And,
Oh, wow.
then we got one on mainly parades and banquets. But if they look my name up, Dargan Watts, on Facebook, it will list all of them. And then we got one that's a paid deal, and everything on it is just where you were Saturday.
Gotcha.
And all of the old time pictures of the old time race cars back from 1948 when the layout was done there at what's known now as PONCE Inlet, and we've just kept it for that. And also we try to get 2 pictures of each car throughout the year. We don't want to put everything out at one time, because if you do that, well, people won't look.
Right, it doesn't have as much exposure.
Just we try to make it an individual deal, so one person is centered at the time, and spread it out throughout 12 months. And so that's about it as far as the racing sites. Of course, I've got a couple of family sites too. One for Jane's side of her family, and one for my family too, because we just did that because a lot of the kids, the young people in our families, and yours probably also, they don't know who their cousins are and who their aunts and uncles and grandfathers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers and all that.
Exactly. You're right. That's true. Well, what we can do is we can have David research it a little bit, find it, and put some of the links on this YouTube channel show, and also he can put it on our group page, which is Racing Roots with Hamm.
You're
those
welcome
links.
to anything you see that's on any of our sites.
Well, we wouldn't use it. We would just share the link.
Well, that's fine. You can use pictures just like you have. I noticed about 10 pictures of ours on your site the other day. But what the thing's out there for is for the ancestors of these people that risked their lives years and years ago. They can see what they look like and what they were doing back in those years.
Absolutely. It's a mark in history.
Yep.
Thank you for all that you're doing there, Dargan. You were in the Living Legends of Auto Racing organization, right?
No, I was not. I was told that I could serve no useful purpose with that.
Oh, well, you were. Okay. I thought you were invited to that at one point, but.
Yes.
Yeah, no useful. Okay, I got you. You got so many pictures, man. I'll tell you what, it's amazing. Just going on there. That's how I found you, actually, because I was going and looking on Facebook, and I could see all this stuff and pictures, and I was like, I got to know who's got all these pictures, and there you are.
Well, the one thing maybe this, just like with the parade, I'm working on something else that I told you today. For years now, the state of South Carolina has not had a Hall of Fame for some pretty doggone good drivers in that state. And 2 years ago, I'd gotten in touch with these people, and different ones that I knew that their background and everything. And we had our first meeting right there in the restaurant that you sat at for breakfast Saturday, and which is a long way from South Carolina. But anyway, we had our organizational meeting, and then COVID came through, and sort of put a damper on it as far as being able to meet and what have you. But that's another thing I want to follow through on while I'm still able to, and then just turn it over to somebody in South Carolina, because no way I can do that from Ocala, Florida, and all. But you got quite a few people right there that should be recognized somehow for what they did in racing. And,
that's understandable. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dargan, do you have any, Scott Trevison's asking, do you have any good Sterling Marlin or Cuckoo Marlin stories?
No, I didn't know. I knew Cuckoo fairly well, but I was pretty much out of the Grand National racing there for a while when we were in Louisiana. Wasn't out of racing. It did take me long to find a racetrack, and ended up announcing there. Well, the only time I was ever on flag stand was at Carroll's Raceway in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I'd fly out of Baton Rouge just about every other week, and would see that track. And Jane and our son Dargan Jr. Were up in the Carolinas, and when I flew back in, and it was on a Thursday afternoon, and decided to drive out there, and Phil invited me back for Friday, and it just so happened that his flagman didn't show up. He asked me if I'd ever flagged. I said I'd been on flag stand one time, and I didn't know their rules, and also I ended up as a flagman that night. And then the next night, or the next week, I went out, and his announcer didn't show up. And he asked me if I'd ever done that, and I said, well, I've done it for about 15 years, so I I can't say that I have done that. So
Yeah.
for the next 6 years, that's where I was every Friday night, was in the announcer's booth at Carroll's Raceway.
Oh, yeah.
But I got out of it for a while and away from it because we did have a NASCAR sanctioned track there and outside of Baton Rouge for a while. But I happened to announce the last race it was run there. But I knew Cuckoo, but not Sterling.
Oh, hey, we've got one more question, right quick. If you got just a minute. And go ahead there, Bryson.
Yeah, we've got one come in from our very own Phil Cavalli, a legend himself. He says, was there a door the driver could open inside the car to see the right front wheel and tell if there was anywhere on it or anything on it?
It's a good question. I remember those too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier.
Yeah.
You want to answer, but you want me to?
No, sir. You go for it.
Well, it was a funny thing, especially. Just about all of your cars had trap doors, and we would have had a car that down at the parade that actually had. It was a car that Fireball Roberts drove, and you had coat hangers and springs that you could stick your finger in, pull that thing up, and you could see. Because years ago, you had grooved treads on the cars, and they had a. I don't remember who it was, but he had the theory that if he painted the grooves when the thing got black, then he'd know that the tread was going on it, and he'd change tires. Well, after about the second lap, the asphalt got in there and made everything black anyway. So the trap door the paint didn't help anything. But yeah, you could look at it and enough that you could see that the brake drums would start to heat up, and also you could see your tire wear. But yes, sir, you did. It's mainly for the right front, but. And there's a funny story, too, that about the trap door. Marion Cox, in 1955, entered a car over in Darlington and had the trap door. And on the way home, he was driving the car home, and Nina, his wife, was in the passenger side. And it started pouring down rain, and the rain started coming in on Nina and just going into her face, the hair, clothes, and everything else. And she made him stop at a gas station to get a couple of the old. Back in those days, all your oil came in cardboard boxes, the quart cans. They're actually made of cardboard too. But anyway. Then all of a sudden the cardboard started melting, and Nina kept telling people about it now, even to this day, that it took her 2 weeks to get all that cardboard out of her hair and ears, nose, and everything else.
Oh, no.
But long story short, yes, sir, they did have trap doors, so they looked down and did the inspection on them. So
yeah. That's a good question there too, Phil. I hope you're doing well and have a safe trip down to Daytona, because he'll be coming down there to see you, Mr. Dargan. He's headed down that way.
Hopefully we'll have some good weather for him.
That's your warning. Yes.
Phil is on his way.
Yes. All right. Well, I won't keep you much longer, but I do appreciate you calling in and look forward to seeing you again. I think.
I thought this was going to be about a 5-minute session for me,
yes.
And the other 55 minutes are going to be.
Yeah, I knew better. I actually told Tracy I thought about having.
You got something for next week that you can show them. You changing and grinding those gears down in Daytona, down in PONCE Inlet.
Yeah.
Oh no, he won't. Right. He won't share that.
I'd like to borrow that car.
He might have actually filmed me trying to get in and out of the vehicle with the dress. That would have been entertaining.
Oh yeah, sure.
Well, the last person that drove, it did drive that particular car, but when Humpy drove the other car that Steve brings down from time to time. Humpy, I've never had a back operation. Everybody says that I should, and then most of the doctors say no, you don't want to don't want to have a knife on your back. But Humpy's had 5 back operations, and it took a while to get him out of the car. But well, you know, I told you the story about Humpy and Steve's father, Gardner.
Yeah. You can tell it again, though. They don't know the story. It's pretty funny.
Well, when Humpy and Steve got in the car, of course, you had 2 seats, and everything was getting situated. Steve said, "I hope you don't mind my father riding with us." And Humpy said, "Well, where the hell are you going to get? Where are you going to sit him?" and Steve said, "Well, he'll be okay. He's right here on the console."
Yeah.
And
Oh my!
and it was his father's ashes, some of his ashes in a box.
David didn't
And
tell me
Humpy
about
just
that
leaned
till
over
after.
and said, "Well, Mr. Levitt, I'm glad to meet you, and I hope I don't scare you too bad while we're riding."
Yes. Okay, so tell me, were they really ashes in that box?
Yeah,
Okay.
ashes
All
are
right.
in that box. Steve takes them everywhere he goes, in the truck, in the tow truck, and
All right.
and he gets in that race car. He's got the ashes right there by him. So
All right, well, that's cool. I'm going to have to add that part onto the video that I'm putting together. And, yes. So I will release that video tomorrow morning. I'll let you see it, or I'll send it to you, the link to it. So hopefully it'll be pretty good, and you'll be proud of it and enjoy it. Because,
Yeah. Like I
I'd
said, I didn't.
love to see it. Love
Yeah.
to see it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
realize.
looking forward to the whole thing because it just, well, of course, we were up there in the front and didn't see everything going on in the back, but the Gladys in all 11 years, that's the first time that they have seen been in the parade, and it was just such an honor to have them. But I did tell Rhonda afterward. I said, "Well, Rhonda, no, I told her this before the parade. I said the last lady that I had in the convertible with me died, and she looked a little surprised. And I said, "Yeah, it was Vicki Wood. She was 99 when she rode with me, and she died 2 years later." So,
Right.
but that was her last trip to Ponce Inlet.
Hey, so I'm putting the picture up on the screen now. So if you're listening on the radio and y'all want to see it, you go to DHammiam on YouTube. You can also go to Racing Roots with Hamm on Facebook. But it's got the picture of you in the car, the convertible. That was.
I saw that picture, and I certainly would like to have it.
I want to send that to you. I actually meant to do that.
I tried to pull it off, and it wouldn't allow me to do it. So.
Yeah, I'll send that to you right as soon as we're done. But I thank you so much for talking to us and telling us all your.
Well, it's been a pleasure. It's been
Yeah.
a pleasure. I just hope I didn't.
No.
Well, I said on the promo that I did on the Facebook sites that while I was on, that they could make a quick trip to the bathroom at the refrigerator and not miss any of the show.
Oh no.
I didn't realize it was going to be an hour.
Yes. Well, I'll be honest. I told Tracy, I said, I thought about having, maybe Bill Blair calling, but I thought, you know what? I think Dargan's going to talk enough to where we're going to fill up some time. So,
well, my wife says that too. She's very much aware that I never know when to shut my mouth.
well, yeah, that's mine. I did a Facebook post, Happy Valentine's, and I was trying to look for the little shovel emoji to put on the post because I was like, I'm bad about, not putting the shovel down, digging myself a hole. Get it? Like I'm doing right now. So I'll shut up.
I didn't see the post, so I'm kind of lost.
Oh, well, good. I mean, not good, but okay.
I
actually
did,
worked
and it was not good. It was not good.
Well, Mr. Dargan, I think you have lots of knowledge, and I think that, that you have a lot to say. So therefore, people that don't hear it all the time are very interested in hearing it.
No, I think they hear it too much.
Well, the people that have heard it before, maybe, but not the people that haven't heard it. For me, this has been, amazing hearing all your stories.
Oh, we just started. It's so many out there. You don't have to look far to find a good story on racing.
This is true, and I'm so happy that you're a part of it and that you can share it.
Well, we're glad to do it. We're glad to do it.
All right,
We appreciated
make
it.
it a regular thing. All right. Well, hey,
Well, it has been my pleasure,
Yes.
sir. It has been, and look, there'll be a place in Ponce Inlet for you in about 364 days.
That sounds like a plan.
I love it. Love it down there. I really do. So, don't tempt me like that. I'm just kidding. But no, I do love it down there. So yeah, thank you for that. I'll get back to your Valentine now. So held you up long enough. So you have a great evening.
Same to you. Same to you.
All right, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dargan.
All right, very good. Mr. Dargan Watts there. He is a legend in NASCAR and racing, and his knowledge and his pictures and all that good stuff. So, and he's one of the organizers of that parade that we went to, which was a great thing. So I believe it's going to be an annual thing, no doubt about it. So what we're going to do is take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll get to any questions, and we'll say hey to our friends here on YouTube and Facebook. And so we'll be right back to Racing Roots with Hamm.
Real Country 550 and 92.9 WAME Statesville. Real Country.
This Valentine's Day, shop our Gregory Jewelers for the experience you can trust. You know everyone could use a little sparkle this year. If you're looking for something special, a one-of-a-kind gift, our Gregory Jewelers is your source. Make a statement and stand out with a special selected piece from our Gregory Jewelers. Our Gregory Jewelers is your diamond direct source from Antwerp, Belgium, with the area's only graduate gemologist from GIA. Mention this ad and receive a special discount when you stop in.
.9 WAME.
And we're back to Racing Roots with Hamm right here on 550 AM and 92.9 FM. And we just had Mr. Dargan Watts on the phone with us. And thanks again to him for calling in. And we got a lot of our friends here on our YouTube channel and Facebook that we're going to say hello to right quick. And if you got any questions, put them out there for us. All right, who you got over there, Bryson?
Dickie Dennis, Becky Courtney, Tracy Warren all say Happy Valentine's Day, so they're tuned in. Dickie Dennis is a frequent listener of the show here.
Where's my Valentine, Dickie?
Yeah. And then we got James McCorkle says, good show. Love the racing from those days. Dargan was a little before me, but those names are familiar, so he's enjoying it. And Greg Goals tuned in as always. So got a bunch of people listening. So check us out.
I know those are all good race fans. I know James McCorkle, Jim, is one of my cousins down in Charlotte, and he used to work at Home and a Moody.
Which I just learned
Hey,
right
Greg,
now.
Yeah. Yeah, Tracy just now figured that out. So who was the other one, I'm sorry, that you just said with James? With Jim?
Greg Goal is tuned in, yeah.
Yeah.
Greg Goal.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, Greg. All right. And on YouTube, is that my department now over here?
Well, a lot of the same people have nobody new has really tuned in. Jim Dooley has tuned in. Linda Jinks has tuned in.
Okay, so Integrity Minded, what is your name? Because I don't recognize that. But that'd be good if you don't mind telling us your name. Unless you want to be incognito, that's fine too. We're cool with that. Linda Jinks, and she is up in, is it Elmira? I always get one of those wrong, but it's near the airport we used to fly into. So Philip,
in California?
No.
Where?
Not California, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Going up, yeah. Philip Riot is hello, and Jana was tuned in as well down in Daytona, or there in Ponce Inlet, or there, well, De Leon Springs, to be exact.
They went with us to the
Super Jason.
To the show.
Yeah. Jody Brooke. Hello, Jody. Yeah, they did, and that was a great time. We had a good times hanging out with Scott and Jana, And we went out to some very nice restaurants. Of course, I got my new shirt on, my new favorite shirt. And, I walked downstairs. And
you bought yourself a Valentine's gift.
And, that's right. Well, you can enjoy seeing it on me. Is that good for Valentine's?
Yeah, you just look better with a tan if you had it on. We need to
Probably
come.
some take notes.
You need to come to work and get you
On
some.
what not to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, I'm
Yes.
kidding.
No, I was just saying when I walked downstairs with this shirt on, who was the shopper in the house?
Who's the shopper? Mom.
Yes. So, of course, she loved my shirt. I knew she would.
Did she say, "Would you bring me back"?
No, but she said it would look better on me than it does you.
Oh, did she?
So I'm not sure how to take that, but
It would look better on me or look better
no,
on her?
me. This wouldn't fit you. You could wear it as a nightgown.
Well, okay, that doesn't mean it wouldn't look good.
Okay. You could probably wear it as pants. Put your legs through these.
No, I can make it a
arms,
skirt.
and then wrap it around your neck.
I can make it a skirt.
No
That's
doubt.
a good idea. Hey, Emily, would you
yes.
be okay with me wearing a skirt as a shirt or a shirt as a skirt to work?
Speaking of Emily, did she get the? Did you tell her the shout out last week was for free?
I
But
did.
from
She
now
said,
on,
"Thank you
it's-
so much."
Okay.
I told her that we did a shout out
That's the
on the
only
radio
time.
for her. She said, "Did you?" I said, "Yeah."
Yes. Well, she's not watching, so
And speaking of which,
that's it.
she actually brought flowers for us for Valentine's for her employees.
Okay.
So we have flowers on the counter. So if you go to work and you see those flowers, it is for her employees.
Oh, that's nice.
That
That'll
was
save
very
me.
nice.
Yes. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah. She likes to save you all the money she can.
Yeah. All right. And speaking
That's
of,
her duty to save you as much money as she can.
yeah, appreciate that. Who else did we have down there with us Saturday? We had Dink Whitenhouse, and we had.
Okay, so I'll give you the lineup.
Yes.
So once we sat down inside after the race, there was a table lined up in an L shape. The first person on the line was Johnny Allen. And then beside Johnny Allen was David Hamm, which I happen to be beside.
DHammiam.
DHammiam.
Yep.
And then next was Mr. Bill Blair. Beside him was Ronnie Roan. I think I'm saying that right. R-O-H-N. Ronnie
Yes.
Ronnie Roan.
He was a like a late model dirt track racer.
And then beside him was Charlie Roberts.
Yeah.
Then there was Blackie Wagoneer, W-A-G-E-R-I-N, Wagern. I know I'm probably butchering these names. I'm not good with that.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Next was Brownie King, and Mr. King actually had a photo of himself in his vehicle, and it said February 1958, and his car number was 32.
All right.
So that was very interesting to look at.
Yeah.
Then next was Jim Fenton, F-E-N-T-O-N. And then you had, lastly, Dink Whitenhouse. And I had a French teacher in middle school named Mrs. Whitenhouse. So
Oh.
I wonder if that's her father-in-law.
It very well could have been.
Because Whitenhouse is not a very popular name.
Right. Yeah.
It's French.
Yeah. Good day, mate.
Yes.
So there's the White, and he was from over in, I believe, Concord area, somewhere around there.
I don't know that I
Yeah.
caught him say that, but I did speak with Mr. Fenton, and he was 88 years old.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, you wonder how long these guys are going to be around, the ones that raced at the original track, like Johnny Allen. He was there. He raced in the first 3 races. He ran there before they moved it over in 1958. So that would have been, 55, 6, 7, or 6, 7, and 8. And then they moved it over to the Daytona Speedway, the International Speedway, and he raced from there on for at least 3 races. So, yeah.
And Mr. Bill Blair said he was 83. So, he's actually invited us to come to a show that he's doing in September in Mount Airy.
Yeah, that's great.
So he invited us, and I was excited that he asked us to come be a part of it.
Yeah, I think Mr. Dargan Watts is going to be up there too, I believe.
That would be awesome.
So yeah, there's like a little monument area up there.
Yeah, he was trying to explain it to me, and I told him we had visited once, but
Yeah.
of course, I'm a little bit older, so my memory is not quite clear all the time.
Monument to the drivers of the past, pretty much.
Because we went there
legends.
for the
Andy Griffith
Andy Griffith days, which was very interesting. Didn't get to see Barbara Eden, but we tried.
Yeah. Now we're going to wait, 2 hours at least?
Oh, at least 2 hours.
To have to pay for a picture.
In the hot.
Yeah. I could just look at her on TV. Hey,
That's
Barbara.
right. Remember how she was.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, so Mr. Bill Blair actually invited us and said for me to bring my dad. However, when I talked to them, Dad's going to be in Pigeon Forge because they have a car show in Pigeon Forge that he likes to go to every year.
Okay. Well, we'll get him out here sometime. We'll get him on the show. We'll just have like a reunion for. How about we do a reunion for each of the race teams that were around back in the day? You know, and we could have one for Wood Brothers even, because I know enough of them guys over there. We could get them in. And the reason I brought up the Wood Brothers too is because we were talking about that trap door that lifts up to see the tire wear, and Leonard Wood brought in one of their old cars that had been restored, and even had Home and Moody build the engine for it, and it had one of those doors that you open up and check the tire wear. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought that was one of Jocko Flacco's jobs in the car.
To lift it. Oh, he had a job.
To lift that door so that the driver could see to the flock.
Now, how do you tell a monkey to go open a window or a door?
Well, that's the story we're going to get from Peggy. So,
all right. So I'm excited for that. But did you happen to notice on the vehicle you drove that one tire had treads and the other did not on the front?
Yeah, I saw that. And they're also staggered, meaning, and I know you don't know this, but
probably not.
It was actually set up like an original race car would be set up, to where you actually have to pull the wheel to the right to get it to go straight. And so you can almost let off the wheel and going into a turn.
Because it didn't have power steering.
So there's, no, not that. It's because of, one is the staggering the tires, which is the different sizes of the tires. And there's also caster and camber. Like you could be more negative on the right side because you're turning left. So more positive camber on the left side, more positive on the left, negative on the right. And then caster, if you set it more negative on the left side, it's gonna basically almost like shorten your wheelbase a little bit on one side. Anyway, it makes you want to turn left.
Bryson's looking at you like I'm looking at you. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take it all in.
Exactly.
And,
it's like we can't imagine it, but we're trying.
Caster's this way. And then your camber.
I'm following.
Your camber is the upper control arm, which way you move it, front or back. A buggy in a shopping center has a lot of negative camber on the front wheels, so they just go wherever, right? Mm-hmm. So if you have a lot of positive camber on the front, your wheels are going to want to turn straight, and it's going to be harder to turn. So if you're driving down the road, they actually have cars that have variable steering to where when you're driving down the interstate, it stiffens up the steering to where the wheels want to stay straight more easier. So you can just let go of the wheel and let it drive itself.
So quick question.
That's not why, but anyway. Yes.
So I had my picture taken with Mr. Bill.
Okay.
So that I could send it to Dad. Did I give you that picture? If not, can I send it to you and you actually show it to the folks on YouTube?
Well, you know what? You can, yeah. But you're going to have to occupy the next 2 or 3 minutes while I put it on there.
Do I have to email it to you?
Yes, email it to my email. Let me write that down for you. Okay, excuse me, everyone, while I take care of some official business. And Bryson can read some of these comments and questions.
Yeah, that would be great.
Leland C. Johnson's tuned in, says, great show tonight as always. And James McCorkle says, Widenhouse had big lumber holdings and all truth. Dave's setup was King always. So that's what we've got there.
Okay. Leland is my friend on Twitter. He always he'll go on and comment and watch the video. If he misses it live, he'll go back the next day and watch it. Which reminds me, if you're watching this video the next day or the next evening or whenever in the future, like you can read the future, go ahead and comment on the video and hit the thumbs up so that YouTube says, hey, this is pretty good stuff. We're going to put it out to more people.
There you go.
Yeah. And show us some love and support. And don't forget to check out my website, the new website, racingroots.com.
I actually got to go on there because, you told me about it and I'd completely forgotten. So after, I think it was after I saw you Wednesday night, I went on there and checked it out. And it is very interesting. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, and I really enjoyed looking at that. So I think everybody else will too. So.
Thank you. And I'm going to tell you something. I have got so much more to put on it. Trust me, I've been saving up for years, and as much history as I have articles, I have pictures.
You've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And I want to write up everything that I've done and the pictures that I have. I want to write a little article for them. So
Yeah, but I think race fans would really appreciate that when they, looking at that and reading all that. I sure did. I learned a lot, and I read a lot. So that's
Well, I'm
really
glad you
cool.
appreciate the history and stuff too.
Yeah, I do. It's a real passion of mine. I think we need to preserve it because I think, in order to move forward, you also got to remember where you came from. You can't forget that. So.
Got that right.
NASCAR today talks a lot about moving forward, and you hear that all the time, which is great. We do need to move forward, and times are always a changing, but never should forget where our roots are, where our racing roots are. Right.
That's it. You got it.
There you go.
That's a good plug there.
Yeah.
Do we have any more comments or anything over there?
No, none coming in over here. So yeah.
Well, on our YouTube page, we had Integrity Minded. He says my old boss that has passed on was very close friends with Richard Petty. And, yep. All right, so Richard Petty, that's one of the guys that is like bulletproof, still going, carrying on, and, man, been around forever. And, all right, Tracy, did you get it? That's
so
not,
the
okay.
email address that you gave me is not an email address, so I sent it to your other one.
Too late. All right, so what we'll do is the pictures that you're wanting to send me, I'm going to put them on my website. How's that sound?
There you go. That's perfect.
Yep. Racingroots.com. ROUTES, that is. And then you can check them out there. Also, we could go ahead and put them on our Facebook page as well, Racing Roots. But we're going to go ahead and get off here because it is Valentine's, and I think Scott's ready for bed. It's I think his bedtime's 8 o'clock. What did he say? 8 o'clock, lights out?
I don't know, but he was in the bed awfully early Saturday.
Yep. There you go. Well, good night there, Scott. I think he's talking to me. I don't know. He says, good night, Dave. Is that me?
I reckon.
Yeah. Okay.
That's you, Dave.
Yeah.
All right.
Some people call me that, usually when they're mad or something, but.
Dave.
Yep. Right then. Thank you very much. Hey, Will Cronkite is going to be, I actually talked to him on the way here. He's going to be down at the Streamline Hotel.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Didn't you say somebody else was staying there? Wasn't it Bill that was staying?
Yeah, Bill Blair's staying there, but we didn't want to announce that. But anyway, no, I'm kidding. It doesn't matter. He's the one his dad won in 53. He won the race, the Daytona race there.
Whose dad?
Bill Blair.
Okay.
Yeah. And he went to his first race in 1940 at 3 years old. But Will Cronkite's going to be signing his book down there at the Streamline Hotel Wednesday evening. I think it's somewhere around 7:30. But you can check him out at NASCARredneck.com and purchase his book there as well. I'll be putting that information on my website too. So there. And Janice says, thank you for sharing your knowledge, Mr. Dargan. It was a pleasure to meet you this past weekend. Absolutely. And we got more friends that we met there. And we'll get them on the show. We'll get them to call in or whatever. We'll do what we got to do to preserve the history. We want to know people. We want to know all of our racer friends, their path, their story, their racing roots.
Now, am I correct that somebody there at North Turn mentioned something to you about the radio show?
Yeah. I had actually several people come up to me and say that they've seen my show. Mm-hmm. Because I would mention Bill Blair or something like that, and they're like, yeah, I know. And then I would start telling them about my show, and they're like, oh yeah, I've seen your show. So I'm like, oh well, that's cool, And then some of them were kids; their dads were introducing them to it. So I complimented them on training or teaching their kids young.
And that's
racing.
the same thing that happened when we went to the thing for the Christmas. Stocks for Tots.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Down in
A
Mooresville.
lot of the people
Pricing
already knew
Fair, too.
about your show.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Share.
It's neat when you go somewhere like that and, people recognize the
and
show.
they even recognize Bryson.
Oh, yeah. Well, that one lady did, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all right.
One lady, but yeah.
That's okay.
Hey,
but you also got Shauna Robinson's number. And,
right. I mean, I was willing and dealing. We were, yeah, we were
working.
We was doing good that night.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
Mr. Will had people asking me for my signature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
Autograph.
a good night. I had a lot of fun that night.
Yeah, that was a good night. So we've had a lot of good experiences with this show. Talked to a lot of wonderful, amazing people with some unbelievable stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Dargan, he commented back to Scott. That was one of the questions we had missed there, Scott, but you got your answer, so very good. All right, well, everybody, good night, and tune in next Monday evening. We have Kyle Lockrow coming on with us, who is I believe he's an Xfinity driver. I'm going to have to go on and do a little research because it was actually Stocks for Tots where his PR person came up and gave me her card.
She did. Yes, I remember that.
And said that they wanted to come on the show. So very good. And so we'll have him on next week, next Monday evening at 7 o'clock, Racing Roots with Hamm. And you can tune in right here on 550 AM, 92.9 FM. I'm not talking to you, Siri.
Siri thinks you are.
Yes, I heard that. I was like, what is that noise? All right. And then you can also tune in on my DHammiam on YouTube and look for Racing Roots on Facebook. You can pretty much do a Google search Racing Roots, ROUTES, and it'll take you to anything.
So Scott did just say, he commented back to Dargan, and he said that was, he helped me out with my NASCAR trivia game, High Banks.
Yeah, he's got a big sign in his man cave. I did a little video in there. I'll have to do that on my TikTok. But if you want to reach me anywhere outside of my social media, Facebook that is, go to DHammiam on Twitter and DHammiam on Instagram. That's pretty much the brand name. So if you just do a Google search, you want to send me a message, send a question, send a suggestion, whatever, I'll take it. Constructive criticism.
And ask questions on our YouTube after the show. Make sure you click thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click that bell notification so that you can know when we go live again.
All right, Bryson, you got any final parting words over there?
Yeah, well, it's been a good night. Been a good show. I was looking forward to hearing what you guys had to say over there about your trip down to Daytona. I did see the live video, but I hadn't seen none of the other stuff. So I will be looking forward to that. And big week for race fans this week and this weekend. So looking forward to all the things to come.
That's right. We got truck racing Friday.
Yep. Grant Enficker's going to win it. We sent him off good.
That's right.
Up here. So I'll be pulling for him.
Yeah.
And then truck race on Friday. Saturday is the ARCA guys will be racing right before the Xfinity guys go in there. And then, of course, Sunday's the Daytona 500. So it's back. So,
it's
that
back.
2 months of, nothing to do and not knowing what's going on is over. So
already back. I did see a lot of the haulers going down. I saw some ARCA ones too.
Oh, speaking of that,
I saw all three Penske ones go down on Sunday. I mean, what?
Yeah, speaking of that, on our way to Daytona. So we're riding. David's in the passenger seat. We're riding down, and I look over and I say, "Look, David, there you go." And I pointed to a hauler that was hauling a car. And I said, "There's your car." And he goes, "No, it is." And I said, "No, it's not." He says, "Yes, it is, number 35. And he pulled up the picture. And I was like, "Oh, my goodness. Are you sure?" He says, "I'm about 90% sure." So he actually called the gentleman that was hauling the car. And it sure was.
He said, "I'm almost down to Florida now."
And we were at exit 22.
I said, "I think I saw the doors go flying off of that car when we went by."
I think I saw the trap door open.
We went by it so fast that we went by it so fast that the windows flew out of it.
Yeah,
when we got there, it didn't have any.
That's the thing. When we went to the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 last year at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and on the way back, we all the haulers, they took off, and we'd been waiting in traffic. I wasn't really expecting to see any, I wasn't thinking we're taking the same route that these guys are because we weren't staying. We stayed the night before. So we're on the way back, and we come up on all these trucks, and we're passing all these haulers, and I'm like, man, I can say I just passed Joey Logano's race car. Or I just passed Kurt Busch, So that was cool.
Yeah. So. Did you hear whenever they, let's see, like the 4 car, they only brought 1 car.
Oh, really?
Having trouble getting parts.
Yeah, I did see something about that.
Yeah.
So part of this next gen, I guess, getting your parts from everybody or from the same place. And
they're
all
out.
That.
They're in a container out on the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
Or in a truck.
Well, there's a lot of things out in the Pacific Ocean right now. So, yeah, man.
Craziness.
Right. Yes. All right. We all have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday evening on Racing Roots with Hamm. Good night.